Hello and welcome to the Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
My name's Buke.
My name is Jay.
And here we are, episode 48. In a few minutes, we're going to play you the interview we just finished with Hyperion from Sweden. Got to tell you, this was a really fun interview. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that. And these guys were, they're good guys. You know, it was really fun talking to them. And
good guys and kind of a hot topic right now. So a bit of a scoop for us to have somebody with such a good, highly talked about record right now.
Yeah, we were going to have somebody else on today, but due to circumstances beyond our control, things had to be rescheduled. And at the last minute, Buke swooped in and picked up Hyperion for us. And that's, as you'll see, it's a great interview. And it's a great band with a great album, Seraphical Euphony. If you haven't heard that yet, you should check it out on Bandcamp.
Every once in a while, that Buke earns his paycheck.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So why don't we just go ahead and play the interview now, and then we'll pick up after that.
This week's featured band. This week's featured band. This week's featured band. Listen to this band.
Hello and welcome to the Metalheads podcast. We are joined today by a couple of the guys from the Swedish band Hyperion. Would you please introduce yourselves?
My name is Erik Molnar. I am one of the three guitar players from Hyperion.
And I'm Anders Peterson, the drummer.
Excellent. Thank you for coming on the show today. Why don't you guys start us out by telling us a little bit about Hyperion, the history of the band up to this point, and how you guys got together?
Sure. The whole band basically started in 2007 with me and two older members. Initially, we were a part of the band. I was the guitar player, which I still am, and there was a guy called Erik Torell and another guy called August Bengtsson on bass. And quite shortly thereafter, we recruited Anders here, who is still with us, on drums. And then basically we recorded one demo and started a few and made a few shows live. And that period was basically musical for us. Was very inspired by early In Flames and early mellow death in general. You know, combined with a lot of thrash and other influences like that. Then eventually a lot of things happened basically. But in 2009 we basically got a very drastic turn of events in the band, and everybody basically left except for me.
So you're holding it down.
Yeah. So in that time period, I teamed up with our current guitar player Mikael, which came in later on, and we started writing music, which eventually became a new type of sound that we were drawn towards, which was more like inspired by melodic black metal, atmospheric black metal, and also death metal to some extent, but also keeping the melodic and epic atmosphere which we had since day one. And that resulted in 2010's Blood of the Ancients demo released. And since then much has happened, as you say, but the current state of the band right now is that we have released a full-length album called Seraphical Euphony this year.
And it's been pretty popular with the guys on this show. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, how much you guys look online, or we don't have a lot of metal magazines over here.
Not good ones anyway.
I can assume maybe you guys have made it back home. But there's a lot of talk right now about your album. People are just loving it. I'm seeing you rarely see perfect review scores, but the couple I've seen have been like 5 out of 5s, 100%. This is a pretty amazing debut album.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, I have to ask you guys before you mentioned it with the early In Flames influence, Erik. With you guys coming from Sweden, when there are so many amazing influences that are just surrounding you. How did you land on In Flames, or what was about In Flames that was the band you said that influenced you guys the most, maybe?
Yeah, in the beginning I basically was In Flames. We weren't like a copycat band or anything, or maybe in the beginning. but I mean, the first couple of In Flames albums like Horacle and Jester Race and Luna Strain, I mean, it was just a special part of
the good ones.
Type of atmosphere. Yeah, the good ones.
Yeah, the good ones.
Who knows what they're up to now, right?
No, their last album wasn't bad.
I mean, it was just something about the atmosphere and the perfect blend of brutality and melody, which In Flames had in the beginning with the twin guitar harmony and the drum sound and everything. It just was just perfect. It was a combination of everything that, at least from my point of view, music should be up to that point. But later on, as you progress as a musician, you naturally take in other influences as well. So yeah,
Of course.
In Flames was an influence in the beginning.
For me personally, influence were like the Florida death scene more than the Swedish death scene. Like Morbid Angel, D-Side, all those bands, they were like greater influences on me when it comes to drumming and when it comes to being a musician in general than any other Swedish band at that period, like in the beginning of Hyperion, around when I jumped in like in 2008, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me personally, it was like I was more of a Florida death metalhead than anything else. I didn't really listen to anything else except for Florida death metal.
And that was kind of cool because we didn't play like straightforward melodeath all the time. And due to Anders' skill as a drummer early on, which he could do blast beats and very fast double kicks and so on, we tended to kind of incorporate more extreme influences in our music at a very early stage, which set the base, which set the foundation for us to continue and evolve and become more fast and heavy, I suppose.
Anders, I have to ask you: is the early Florida death scene as a drummer, was that more attractive to you than the Swedish melodic sound that was starting in the 90s?
Yeah, it definitely was. The Florida death scene has a lot more raw brutality, I guess, than the Swedish scene that I was a lot more attracted to than anything else at the time. And especially when it comes to like Pete Sandwell from Morbid Angel or any of those guys from the Florida death scene, it really made me more as a drummer than the Swedish scene. And then it was that Polish band Decapitated.
We just saw them live a month ago or so.
Yeah, the old drummer there died in 2006.
Yes.
He was a good teacher at some point when I was 15 years old, and I copied all of their songs and played all their songs. And I became a much better drummer mostly because of Decapitated more than any other band. But Morbid Angel was a big influence for me when it comes to drumming. And
whether you can hear it or...
I don't know. When it comes to the Swedish death metal scene, especially when it comes to the Gothenburg scene with In Flames and Dark Tranquility and all that, they had a lot of melodies and melodic metal riffs. But I like the more sound to have the melodies inside the riffs, like Morbid Angel or this side, where they're it's a melodic death metal riffs, but not a melody on top of it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Believe it or not, Hyperion has a lot of influences from raw death metal, especially from the types of band that Anders was speaking about, like Decapitated and Morbid Angel. Those bands are, believe it or not, major influences to us. You can hear a bit of death metal as well.
I was wondering about black metal stuff like Emperor or something, so with the tremolo picking and.
Yeah, we have a lot of influences of that, obviously, as well. It's just a big melting pot of everything we listen to.
Anders, it's interesting. You just and your connection isn't amazingly great. But I believe you just said Gothenburg, and you said Gothenburg, and so it's interesting to me that you pronounce it that way. Do you do that for our sake?
No, in Sweden we pronounce it Göteborg.
It's just by accident, I don't know.
Is it because us metal people out here in the world all pronounce it Gothenburg? So you just go with it, I guess.
I always thought it was Gothenburg. I don't know.
Gothenburg, that's metal scene. We just go with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's become a whole thing of its own. Yeah. So that word, I think, means that the metal scene more than it does, with that new pronunciation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier on about how you guys have 3 guitar players. Did you start off with 3 guitar players? Was that the plan, or how did that come about?
How did you get your Yannick Gers?
That's what I was going to say. It's just like Iron Maiden now.
Yeah, but I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan. But I don't know if that was if that was part of the equation. But basically, in the beginning, we've always had layer upon layer upon layers of guitar harmonies in our music. And in some songs we have even 5 or 6 different guitar parts playing at the same time. So, and naturally, as our music evolved and it became even more complex with more and more harmonies, it just felt very, very natural to include 3 guitar players in the band. And on top of that, in the middle period where it was just like me and a guy called Mickey in the band, who's still in the band, it was basically us 2 in the band, and then he quit and moved to study in another city in Sweden. And then we got another guitar player called Effe Gunnar. And then when Mickey came back from his studies, we were like, we can just play 3 guitar players. Why not? Our music demands it, so why not? It was just a combination of. It was kind of planned, but not planned in a way. So.
That's a very Yannick Gers outcome, actually. That somebody came back. I got a proposal for you. I want you guys to come to America and go get Sulfur Aeon in Germany before you come and do a co-headlining tour. I think you guys would be great together. Do you know that band?
Yeah, I know.
I'm familiar with, yeah.
Guys, does having 3 guitarists? I've wondered this with Maiden. Of course, Maiden's been doing this for decades now. Does it bring in any problems that a band with maybe your normal number of guitarists wouldn't have?
It's not a normal number, but it's typical.
No, sorry, typical over
I don't
normal.
know if I would call it problem. Sometimes it can get a bit messy because we have many different songwriters in the band, so there can be many different chefs in one single dish, if you know what I mean.
There's a lot of Swedish chefs in the pot.
Yeah, I have a melody. Yeah, but it's like that's kind of a problem, I guess. But it's not a problem in the end because we thrive on each other's opposition and kind of idea brainstorming. So I wouldn't call it a problem, but it can be a bit frustrating at times when everyone has 500 different ideas.
Yeah. Do you guys play live?
Yeah, we play live. Not as often as we should, but we play live. The last time we played
Anders
live
is laughing. It sounds like Anders wants to play more live or something.
Well, the reason
we don't really play that often. It's like we play 1 show or 2 shows every year for the past 6 years or something. So, but we have focused a lot on the debut album, so that's basically why we haven't played that much live this couple of years. So,
right,
believe it or not,
try to focus as much as possible with that.
So the reason I asked if you played live was because, particularly in clubs and bars and things like that, the stage is kind of laid out for a 2-guitar band. I went and saw a band called Beyond the Embrace a while back, and they were a 3-guitar player band, and the stage was very crowded. They didn't seem to know where to put that 3rd guitar player. I was wondering if you'd had that sort of issue.
Several times, believe me. We played on a very, very small stage once here in Stockholm, and I was standing in the back, to the back of our former guitar player. And when I was headbanging, I hit his guitar 4 or 5 times in my head. And that's a very usual problem that we have. Yeah.
And that was probably the worst, the hardest gig ever. It was I had a spotlight right on my back or something. It was sweaty as hell.
Because there's no room.
Yeah.
Warm as fuck.
Well, hopefully you'll be playing on some bigger stages soon.
Hopefully,
I
yes.
hope so.
Get you guys on some of the festivals.
Anders, in the album, there's a lot of keyboard work. I've read online that you're the keyboardist. Is that something you've picked up recently? Have you played, since you were a child?
No. The funny part is that right now I'm more of a classical musician than I am a metal drummer. I'm actually a classical pianist, and I played for about 5.5 years, I guess, something like that. And I think I'm turning 6 this fall or something. But it's not really I picked it up when I was a child. I started playing drums when I was 12 years old. And then I started playing a lot more piano when I was 16 or 17 years old. And then I just continued. And I have an amazing teacher as well, old woman professor from Poland. So she taught me a lot about classical piano. And right now I'm having concerts once every month or a couple of times every month or something like that. And I'm playing only classical repertoire all between Rachmaninoff to Chopin to Liszt, whatever I feel like.
I'd like to hear that too.
Yeah, so that's why I have, and I'm applying. I already applied to a composer school in southern Sweden. So hopefully I will enter. I don't know yet. I'm gonna ask them later. They are gonna call me this month. So I really know. But yeah, hopefully I will learn more stuff about composing, about symphony, orchestration, all that, and apply it to Hyperion more. And yeah.
No,
So,
it seems. Sorry, Jay. I got one quick thing to ask about this.
course.
With keyboardists, it seems like we've seen a lot of bands incorporate more keyboards of the past decade or so. My favorite being Pear of Opeth for the short time that he was in the group. Do you have a favorite keyboardist in metal? Like the guy from Children of Bodom comes right to mind for me also.
there are a lot of good guys when it comes to keyboard, especially that guy from Shiro Bodom. I don't really know his name. I don't really listen to Shiro Bodom that much. I know Alexei Laiho a little bit, but and I know a couple of their records, but I'm not a huge fan of Shiro Bodom in that way. I like some of their stuff, but otherwise, I don't have any favorites within metal scene. I like Joran Rudess from Dream Theater. That guy is pretty fucking good, but otherwise than that, I don't have any influences or anything that can be drawn from the metal scene when it comes to piano or keyboards or anything.
Somebody who's classically trained. I love the keyboard use that you guys incorporate. Do you hear bands using it now, and do you hear some of them using it and you're like, oh, come on, guys. Why are you trying to jam the keyboards in there? It doesn't really work.
I don't know. We don't really compare ourselves too much to other bands in that sense. But what I can say about the keyboard stuff that we have in the band is quite interesting process, because basically what happens is, obviously Anders is a huge contributor to the keyboard and orchestrations and piano parts of Hyperion. But we've all basically, or many of us, at least the guitar players, have written a lot of keyboard parts, at least the foundation of them. Wow. And then, because of the fact that Anders is classically trained, he can of course take those chords or whatever and turn them into 5 times more massive arrangements than what it would have been otherwise. So that's the whole process we have with the whole keyboard thing. And we use backtracks live actually when we play. So
yeah, the process when it comes to the orchestration part, especially Seraphical Euphony, the title song of the debut, it's actually not like pods or anything like that. It's like I bought a special program to my special, like a mod or something, to my recording station where I record, and it's called Symphonic Orchestra, and it applies every single instrument in an orchestra and even more than that. And in especially Seraphical Euphony, it's like every single instrument is separate. It's like I think it's like a tuba and a 10 set of violins and violas and cellos and a contrabass and a lot of different instruments. It was a crazy labyrinth to work with, especially that song. I think it took me a month to write only the foundation and finish everything for Seraphical Euphony, only that song. Yeah, it was like 2 years ago now, maybe.
I can tell you the whole album was
a labyrinth.
Yeah, we went through hell and back to make this album. I can tell you, it was not an easy thing to do, but we finally made it, and we're very happy with the results. Did
you perhaps learn a lot from this experience that maybe the next album won't quite take so long, or do you think it will be another ordeal?
It will be an ordeal for sure, because there are obviously new challenges to face with everything that comes along. But of course, we learned a lot of things, and this whole thing was a trial and error process from day one. We had to redo a lot of things. I mean, for example, me and Anders, we spent like 14 or 16 hours a day in the studio, 6 days in a row, just recording drums, and basically burnt ourselves out. Wow. And then for the guitar recordings, I think we spent 1.5 years on the electric guitars. Sitting not all the time, but sometimes we sat for like 30 or 40 days straight with one single song. Quite exhausting in it, and we lost some guitar parts that we were supposed to we were forced to re-record. We lost bass parts we re-recorded. Me and Harry, the vocalist, we started fighting in the studio, not fighting like that, but fighting, vocally.
Verbally.
Eric, I have to
verbally.
ask you this. Is that just something about you guys speaks for the personality of the band? You spending like 30 to 40 days on one song, to the average listener like myself, I probably wouldn't even hear the problems that you guys are bringing up, right? But is it just that you guys want to put out the best album possible that you guys couldn't accept?
Yeah, I mean, we invested a lot of energy, time, and even money into this album, which is basically, at least for me, it's kind of a life project, if you will, or what you call it in English. So naturally, we wanted each and every song to be as perfect as possible. So we put a lot of effort into making everything perfect.
I think the attention to detail paid off because it sounds great.
Yeah, thank you. The drum part was really, really painful. I remember I was at a tour with another band at the same time. So I came, this was my week at that time when I recorded drums. It was like a Friday and Saturday I was at tour. And then on Sunday I came back to Stockholm to record, and then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I recorded drums, and then on Friday and Saturday I was back on tour, and then on Sunday I was literally dead, and I was lying on the sofa. I can't tell you, I don't remember anything from that Sunday when everything was finished, because I did literally nothing. That's why I don't remember nothing.
Yeah, I remember when I was in the studio. I remember when I was in the studio and we recorded the drums. I didn't record anything. I was just behind the buttons, clicking OK next and stuff like that. But I got actually panic issues. I got panic attacks and stuff. So it was long story short,
claustrophobia somehow. Yeah.
We slept over at the studio at one point because we were under such time pressure, because we had more days actually, but because I was on tour at the same time, I couldn't really be there for so long. So because of that, we had to shorten it a couple of days, and that's why we had to sleep over at the studio when we recorded from like 8 in the morning till 2 in the night, and slept over and then began in the morning again. And I remember during More Elevation, it's the 5th song on the album, I guess. My body literally broke down, and I couldn't really play anything. It hurt. My arms hurt, my legs hurt, everything. It was like a total destruction for my body, and it was like, this is like the 4th song we're recording, and I got like 5 left or something. I don't know. It was like
it's like torturing your guy's self, man.
Yeah, it was literally torture.
But you have to. I think you have to kind of go. Every band that produces something worthwhile has to go through a certain experience of trial and error in order to make good music. I think so. It was a good thing in the end, I suppose.
Yeah, like George said when we first got you guys on, it definitely the quality speaks for itself on first listen. It just shines through.
Oh yeah, I knew right away I was going to like this.
Yeah. This album, when you listen to it, it surprises you around every corner. And I again was listening to it last night, and I got to track 6, Primal Cosmic Ascendancy, and that track again just blew me away, because you find these little things you didn't hear before in each song. This is one of those albums that with each listen you enjoy it more than the last, because you're hearing little parts that you didn't hear the first 10 times listening to it.
Thank you a lot. That is actually a great compliment, because that is the way, at least I suppose everybody in the band view how music should be listened to. I mean, I usually tend to like music more that I have to, how should I say, work more to
work is good.
to appreciate. Listen to it a couple of times and discover new details. That's the kind of music for me that lasts the longest, because there is so much to absorb in it. So I'm glad that you got that impression.
And definitely, Erik and Anders, this is definitely not an album for the guests listening for our listeners listening right now.
Okay.
I don't recommend this album. Sorry, this guy. It says bad to say it's the first, but I don't recommend this listen to a track here and then listen to another band. This is the best way to listen to this album is sit down, roll through it start to finish. It is the best, I say the only way to listen to this album, because you let the album take you on that journey. Yeah,
it is a journey actually. Yeah.
Do you guys have like a? I'm sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
That's all right. No, go with what you're going with there. I was going to talk a little bit more about production and recording and stuff.
Do you
so go
guys,
ahead.
you guys speak on like the? Do you have an overarching theme for the album?
Yes, we have an overall theme for the album. I could, or we could basically sit here for 3 hours, I mean, for like talking about each song for 3 hours each when it comes to lyrics, because our lyrics are veiled and ciphered within layer upon layer upon layer of metaphors. But the overall theme of the album, Seraphical Euphony, is basically about ascending to a higher state. That's basically, and whether it's that subject is dealt with in each and every song through different perspectives. That's the overall theme of it. That's basically the whole message of the album, I would say, is to never give up on what it is that you want, and that everything needs to evolve.
Not to pick on it, but George and I have both been struggling this week with a record that we want terribly to like that has the exact same theme. And I want to say you were much more successful and made it interesting. And I'm talking about the new Shamash record, which people are starting to talk about as a kind of masterpiece, which it's not, no offense, but at least not for me. But I mean, it lacks the interesting paths that you guys have taken.
It's a little one-dimensional.
It's one-dimensional, and yet it tells a very similar story to what you're talking about.
Okay.
So, and you, I know you're not in a contest with anybody, but I'll just tell you we're much more successful.
Thank you, I guess.
Hey, guys, to an album has so many layers. Musically, lyrically, is that even a word?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's just make it up today. Yeah.
We make it up today.
Are you guys, or did you guys have any conversations about maybe this going over people's heads?
How do you mean going over people's heads?
Not really.
Well, people get it. You put a lot of work into it.
Okay.
People can understand it.
Well,
Like
that's I can only speak for myself. But the thing that I want to get out of when writing lyrics, and me and Anders write lyrics together sometimes, is that we want to express something we feel inside of ourselves. That's priority number one. And if people understand that, that's fantastic, but that's not the first priority. Mm-hmm. Not to say that we neglect our listeners and lyric readers or whatever in any way, but first priority is that we have something that we feel that we want to say, and then we say it. So that's
ultimately, because it is your project,
I'm sure a lot of bands have songs that people just don't take the way they were intended when they were written, and that's why a lot of times people ask musicians, "Well, what's the song about?" And they go, "Well, what do you think it's about?"
Yeah, I think so.
Because
that's that's
you'll go crazy. You'll go crazy thinking about that.
That's a good way of putting it. But
Seraphical Euphony is a song that is giving a lot of hits. It's like the title track is like a journey through Hades, like the underworld in Greek mythology. So we studied a lot about like Greek mythology and especially about Hades, the underworld, and try to do as much as possible. But we write about like everything that literally comes to mind and what we find interesting. As Erik said, it's like priority number one is what we have to say, and if anybody else get it or not, it's not anything we really thought about, because we didn't really know that this album would blow up like it did. It's like napalm now, and we didn't even. I didn't expect that. I expected like, we record an album, when it's finished, we release it, and like, our friends and family buys it, and then it's dead for about
that's what
2
we kind of
years.
expected.
That's what we didn't expect.
We didn't expect any kind of large scale exposure whatsoever. We just as Anders said, I was also expecting like we would gain like 50 more Facebook likes. We would gain some more following at least. Some people would like it. Our family and friends would buy it to support us. That's what we expected, but it went way of our hands, and the roller coaster ride has just begun as we view it right now.
When I first heard it, I heard it on Bandcamp, and I spent a great deal of time going through new music on Bandcamp, looking for the next band that I'm going to like and that I want to feature on here, and I listened to a lot of bands for like 30 seconds and move on. And as soon as I heard Seraphical Euphony, I was just like, wait, what? I mean, for a band that I hadn't heard of before to come out of the gate with something like this, it just blew my mind. So, again, I have to say congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you guys? So, did you work with any kind of producer? Or, I mean, it's not, you spent so much time on it individually. So, can you talk about that a little bit, and then also just ultimately mastering it, which I'm assuming maybe one of you did.
Yeah, I will tell you a bit about that initially. The whole problem when we had recorded everything was to choose which kind of producer we would have for this album. We had a lot of, I suppose, candidates that we were looking at. I would say a list of like 10 or 15 people that we had contacted and asked what they would do and so on. But essentially, we decided to go with a guy called Sverker Widgren. He's the former co-founder of Necromorbus Studios. Are you familiar with that studio?
You have to maybe give us a release that they
Necromorbus
made.
Studios has produced and recorded basically every Watain album, every album from a Swedish band called Offermod, Funeral Mists, Malign, really high quality Swedish black metal
Haven't
stuff.
Marduk been there too?
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, we contacted him, and we had a discussion with him, and then he started adding his stuff. And then I remember me and Harry, the vocalist, we went to his studio, and then we gave him all the files, which was I don't know how many gigabytes of material it was, but it was a lot of files that we had to transfer. And then initially he said like, okay, I will mix, master, and edit this album in 6 days. But then when he saw the files and how much work it would be, he was like, okay, I will go with 9 working days. But I can tell you, it did not take 9 working days. It took more like 9 working months for him to do it. So, but basically he made a fantastic job with the mastering process, because I was really worried for some parts of the album to not sound the way we wanted to sound. But he is a really, really talented guy, and sure, a kick-ass producer, Sverker Widgren.
Guys, I have to ask this. You're just mentioning more bands. I have it in my head, and I know it's true. In my profession, I run into a lot of tourists, and a lot of tourists come over from Sweden. And I always ask them, I'm like, hey, do you know Opeth? Thinking that over there in Sweden, everybody's a metalhead.
No.
And they look at you like, what?
Yeah, and they look at me like I have like a third arm. But because in our world, Swedish metal, to me at least, is everything. From a young age, were you guys, how did you get into metal?
Anders, you can start if you want.
Yeah, I started listening to metal when I was 6 years old. Actually, I got into I think Maiden. Iron Maiden was the first band I actually got to listen to, and that's absolute first album I received, like from a real artist or band or something, was their first album from Iron Maiden. From what is it, 1980, I guess.
Yeah.
And that is still because of it. This was my first album I ever received. It's still one of my favorite albums when it comes to metal, because of it was the actual first album I ever received. But then I got into the earlier Metallica albums when I was like 7 or 8 years old. Ride the Lightning and Marshall Puppets, like that stuff. And I continued to listen to the early albums from Metallica. And then when I was like 11 or 12 years old, more bands came in. And then I became a real big fan of Slayer and King Diamond, The Merciful Fate. And when I was like 13 years old, I started to discover Emperor and Mayhem, all of these kind of bands. But like Slayer became one of my head favorite bands ever, because I loved them when I was like 12 years old or something. I think I saw them live first when I was like maybe 13 or 14. I made like a natural law to always be in the mosh pit or headbanging myself. My head off, but otherwise I loved King Diamond a lot, and when the years passed by, I actually got to learn one of the guitarists from King Diamond as well, so that's pretty cool.
Who?
But otherwise, Mike Wade,
Yeah.
His second guitarist, I guess. But otherwise than that, I started really, really early. I was I was probably the only kid in my class from like first grade until 9th grade who actually was listening to metal. I was like the outsider every single time.
Do you remember when like At the Gates released Slaughter of the Soul in like '95? And that started that whole scene?
we were barely.
You guys were.
at that time. No, we're not
I
that
was
old.
2 years old back then.
I was 5 years old in kindergarten.
Nonetheless, do you remember it?
No, I don't
I'm
remember the
actually-
release.
actually-
It's a fucking great album, of course. Brother the Soul is an influence on us, of course.
It's just crazy that, groundbreaking albums came out, and they just, in a sense, only passed them by just because of their age. You know, it's the only simple. They know about it now, but had they been maybe your age, Jay, they would have been living it when it happened. Would have been cool to.
Well, actually, that makes it all the more interesting that the first one you got your hands on was that first Iron Maiden record to me.
Yeah.
Because it must have sounded old to you. I mean, because that is kind of a, it sounds like a 1980 record. How was it that fell into your hands?
Well, I had a kind of lonely childhood overall. I had no friends at all when I was.
Don't be
a
crying,
kid.
George. Right?
So
I relate.
when I was that was okay. It's literally my second kind of, because I had the Alpha Will Forever Young from like '84 before that, but the first like metal band album was the first record from Maiden. And I don't know, I said to my parents that I liked Maiden and I liked their stuff, and then they bought a random album, and I suppose it was like they just took whatever they got, and it was the first album. And then I listened to it a lot. I had it on for like weeks, months in a row when I was at our country house outside of Stockholm back then. So when I had no one to actually play with or be with, I used to listen to that album and pretend that I was the bassist, Steve Harris. Yeah.
Sure.
So actually, my biggest influence back then was Steve Harris more than anybody. But then when I started listening to Metallica, I became more influenced by Lars Ulrich because of the early records of Metallica, like
I don't know if that were real. I don't think that's a popular thing. Maybe you shouldn't tell people that.
No, actually, he said it just right because of the early records.
Okay.
Because of the early records, but
Yeah, that's right.
I was like 7 years old. I didn't know about what a good drummer was or what a drummer was either way. I didn't know anything back then.
No offense,
I was,
Lars.
Like, going
Hey, he's pretty good on those early ones. Let me just say this. Okay. How many heavy metal stories, George and Buke, start like this? Well, when I was a kid, I didn't have any friends.
That's how you end up listening to heavy metal in the first place.
Yeah, basically. So
my story was quite similar, actually. Not in the term of not having any friends, but but I began. No offense, Anders, but I began with Iron Maiden. I began with Iron Maiden as well, but at a much later age. I discovered Iron Maiden at about 13 years old. I got the record Best of the Beast, which was a compilation album of Iron Maiden from my brother. And then I bought Fear of the Dark, which was my first album with Iron Maiden. And then I basically just listened to Iron Maiden for half a year or something like that. The only band I listened to. And then I got into more, I guess you could say, power metal stuff, like the early Nightwish records, the early Hammerfall records.
Yeah, buddy. Now we're talking. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, but and later on I became more interested in. I've always had a fascination for guitar harmonies and melodies in metal. That's kind of my weak spot, if you will. So later on I began of course acquainting myself with the early Metallica records, Master of Puppets, with the thrashy stuff, and later on Slayer, and eventually I came into the whole melodic death metal scene of Gothenburg with, of course, At the Gates, Old In Flames, Star Tranquility, even Old Arch Enemy stuff and stuff like that. And then it's just escalated to more and more extreme stuff as I got older and started playing guitar. I was very influenced by Dissection and Emperor, or two major inspirations for Hyperion, of course. And then it just, it has expanded ever since. And then I started listening to a lot of different music, atmospheric music, soundtracks, and all kinds of stuff, really.
I got to ask you guys, I'm curious about this. Is there ever a question for the band to not do the album in English? I've always wondered if that created a problem.
No, actually not. At least for me, or for a short period, I at least tried to write lyrics in Swedish, and I have no problem with the Swedish language whatsoever. I just, me personally, I find the English language much richer when it comes to literature and And of course,
Vocabulary
when I grew up, I
especially.
played a lot of computer games in English.
So
I
did
read
I, buddy.
English books, and I watched English movies. So you know, I was always fed with English words and the English language in general. And then all of the bands that we listened to wrote lyrics in English, so it just felt natural to express those types of emotions in a global language which we all understood. So.
That's
It's so
very. I
interesting.
find that really interesting, actually.
Me too,
Yeah,
because
perspective.
it's almost like making a choice, George and Anders and Michael or Anders and Erik, excuse me. It's almost like making a choice of what kind of guitar tone you're going to use. I mean, it's almost an instrument choice, really, and that's so interesting to me that a lot of people see that. I think you're probably not alone in what you just said. I guess is what I'm saying, and I'm talking about European people, and I don't think it's to appeal to a bigger audience. There's just something about the way the language works that it's working for your music, and that's really interesting. I've never really thought about that before.
Yeah.
Moreover, I was just what I was going to mention, Buke, was just how interesting it is to me that you guys are younger guys, and yet you kind of got into the metal through the same gateway drugs everybody else does. That people that are our age that grew up with it, and you went in the same order that we did. You went Iron Maiden, Metallica, and they got more extreme. That's so interesting. That especially since, unfortunately, you won't be here, but later in the podcast, we're talking about. We have a little subject where we're going to talk about introducing people to the metal who haven't heard it, and wow, that's just so interesting to me that you guys both went that way.
Jay, that's a great point. Their introductions to metal could have been, those mid-90 bands. Like somebody could have handed them
Disturbed.
Hey, yeah, like, hey, start with this. Like here, Just a Race. Start with this. But no, they landed on the Maiden.
They came in chronologically, and it's why I was really surprised to hear you both were so young, because I would have thought you were older.
That's kind of the
Interesting,
things
so.
I find appealing about metal in general. That I don't know, it's this underlying feeling of that metal is based on some kind of tradition, or it's we value older bands as much as we value new bands that are respectable, and that's kind of one of the things that are unique about the metal subculture in general. Is that metal fans are so dedicated and so diehard that the old bands that really made a mark in the early days, so to speak, they still are very valid, and that is the thing I appreciate a lot in the metal scene, and that is and the thing goes for both young and older people in the metal scene.
The foundation is important, I think, is just to put that another way. And I think if you have been listening as long as some of us have, all of us have, you can hear that. For what it's worth, you can hear it even in your music, which is so far removed now from the beginning of the genre. That foundation is still there, and it's why it works. In better records like yours, which is a modern record, you can that foundation is somewhere there, even if it takes a math genius to find it. It's there, and that's why it works. It's still those elemental things that work, and so it's cool. It's not surprising to hear you guys have an appreciation for that. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're all massive Iron Maiden fans, and you can obviously hear a lot of twin guitar harmony work on the album. So I guess that shines through as well.
It's not saying youth can't be youth is a bad thing, because we look at like hockey players. They can come in and make an impact at 18, 19. It's cool that young metalheads here can put together an album like this on their first try.
Yeah.
That shows that the metal world is alive and healthy.
Yep.
Well, Buke, do you remember what your deep track was last week?
I do.
Say it out loud.
Judas Priest. I can't remember the track right now.
You don't have to be old to be wise.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Do you guys? A quick side note: as Jay, George, and I are deep in the hockey playoffs right now, and George and I are big Washington Capitals fan. We have Nick Backstrom and Marcus Johansson, both Swedish national players. Do you guys watch any hockey?
No.
It's okay.
I don't.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Do you know Opeth?
I've heard of them now. Of course.
I watch hockey when it comes to the championship, when it comes to world championship once every year, when US versus Sweden or versus Russia, then I watch.
Okay.
Watch.
Well, the World Cup of hockey.
Otherwise, I don't follow NHL or any other team or anything. But when it comes to the World Championship, then I'm going for Sweden.
We're in our national playoffs over here, so we're all pretty much obsessed right now. And our teams, the teams we follow, and it's funny too, as Buke points out, just a lot of Swedish guys play over here.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well,
a lot of
hockey, I
Swedish
suppose.
NHL players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose hockey is a northern sport. There are a lot of good hockey players from what I heard in Sweden and in Finland in general. So that's very-
Norway as well.
Eric, you mentioned it. You grew up playing video games. What did you grow up playing?
Oh, that's a very interesting for me to speak of because I was a huge fan of the early and still is a huge fan of the early Blizzard games. StarCraft 1 and Warcraft 2 and eventually later on Warcraft 3. And actually, I don't know if many people know this, but Warcraft 2 and StarCraft, the Warcraft 2 and StarCraft 1 soundtrack is a huge influence on Hyperion's music.
Really?
That is interesting.
That is
I-
interesting.
I absolutely adore the music that Glenn Stafford wrote, and you can hear
it's amazing.
Did you ever listen?
And I also played like Heroes of Might and Magic 3 and stuff like that. Which
Man, you're right up my alley, buddy. Yes.
I was going to say, what about some more recent video game music, like the Skyrim music? I love that.
The
I love
Skyrim
the
music is
sounds
amazing.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I have never played the game my entire life, but I love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I just to throw one more out too. I think the Diablo soundtrack is amazing. That's one of my favorites. That's one of the more metal soundtracks.
The World of Warcraft
Or Diablo
soundtrack is
sound,
amazing.
drum thing, yeah.
Yeah, video game music, a lot of people just, get into it for the graphics and the gameplay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, we just mentioned some games that, Blizzard does an amazing job. But the soundtracks for these games, amazing.
Yeah, they are majestic. I mean, listen to the soundtracks from the Warcraft 2 games. That could easily have been a mighty orchestra composed in the 16th or 17th century by Bach or something. I don't know, but it's
that's the classical student.
yeah,
Maybe not.
The classical guy is getting a bit angry at me. No, I'm kidding, but,
No. But,
no, but what I want to come across is that the music has a lot of power and a lot of melody and a lot of depth and thought into it, which I really appreciate in any kind of music, whether it be metal or game music.
Anders, you had mentioned you were going to composer school in the South, and I was wondering if that was in Malmö.
no, I've only applied. I haven't
But,
entered it. So
I was really just curious as to what town it was.
no, it's in Visby in Gotland. It's like the island between in the middle of the Baltic Sea. It's like an
Gotcha.
old island called Gotland, and there's an old city called Visby, and there's a composer school.
There's an old island. There's an old man who sits on the house.
It's funny you should mention that
You
because
have to answer 3 questions to get onto the island.
I've been binge watching Vikings on Blu-ray this past couple of days, and that was one of the islands on the map. So I was like, oh, I know that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a real island, so
Yeah, well, yes, I understand that.
yeah.
So, but otherwise, I applied to Malmö, the High School of Malmö, and the Royal Academy of Music in Stockholm. I think it was last year, but I didn't enter. I guess I chose the wrong repertoire to play. But then I was applying for what you call it, like first year or first grade for piano.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Anyway, but yeah. So I was playing for piano back then.
You play like hot cross buns and stuff like that, and somebody's playing Mozart. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to lie to you, Anders. I was just showing off my geography skills. I've been to your country just one time, but I was there, and I stopped in Gothenburg, as we all call it in Metal World, in the train station. That's it. What town are you guys in?
One more time. What did you say?
What city are you in, or town? Or?
You're in
Stockholm.
Yes.
You're both in Stockholm.
Yeah,
Yes, we are all in Stockholm, actually.
I'm in
Okay.
downtown Stockholm area in the city, and Erik lives like in the ghetto side somewhere.
No, I'm living in the southern suburbs of Stockholm.
Guys, we've again for our listeners, we're talking to Erik and Anders from Hyperion, and their album Spherical Euphony is out right now. You can go online and buy it. How is Stockholm as a metal city, guys? Are there a lot of cool venues?
Yes, there are a lot of venues here actually, and there are a lot of shows all the time. There is, Globen, which is a huge arena, and then we have a arena called Friends Arena, which is houses like 60,000 or 70,000 people or something like that.
Wow.
I actually saw Iron Maiden there 2 years ago, which was very, very mighty. And we have at least 10 or 15 large and smaller, places to play, which houses all kinds of gigs. So yeah, we have a lot of gigs here.
Here stateside, Jay lives in the San Francisco Bay Area, home of Metallica. They're famous for doing these, one-off little bar shows where they may play under a different name, or they may just come in unannounced, and like exclusive fan club members know about a show and they play for like 30 people. Are there any events and bands around Stockholm where, like Dark Tranquility plays under a band like the band named Happy Times, and they play at a bar for like 10 people?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Do you know any
No,
others?
not that I know of either, actually. But if you're lucky, you might see Meshuggah guys walking on the street. So
Yeah, who are the
Thomas Hake going around. But otherwise than that, no, we don't have anything like that in Sweden. Not that I know of.
who are the metal celebrities in Stockholm? Who is it? If you see him on the street, you go, "Oh my gosh, that's so and so."
Michael.
Yeah, Michael Ackerfeld or something.
Actually, him I haven't seen. I know he lives in the same city as us, but he's quite reclusive, I suppose. I've never seen him.
Yeah,
but I
he's
do
kind
see
of
people from time to time. Usually, I don't see the people that I kind of listen to the most. But the guy I see all the time, I think he lives like a couple of 100 meters from me. Is LG Petrov from the former vocalist of Entombed. I see him all the time on every gig everywhere.
Wow, he's just...
He appears everywhere.
Yeah, and he's always getting shit-faced drunk.
We always have those guys at shows. This is that guy again.
Yeah, I just saw Entombed last week 2 weeks ago.
Now, there's some bands from you guys maybe on the festival scene. Like for George, it's Running Wild. George would give almost anything to see Running Wild. Are there any bands maybe from the States here or around the world that you guys have wanted to see live, but for some reason haven't come through Stockholm?
Necrophagist, Decapitated, there are a bunch of... Running Wild as well, I never seen Running Wild.
They never play outside of Germany anymore.
I think he's asking for American bands.
No. Any bands.
Okay.
Any band, yeah. Well,
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Otherwise, when it comes to American bands, I've seen those I want to see, like Morbid Angel. I've never seen D-Side or Cannibal Corpse. Those two I want to see.
Those are good.
Otherwise, there are a lot more like European underground death metal bands and cult bands that I haven't seen and that are never around, like Necrophagist, that literally never are around anymore. So that is probably the first band I would pick, like Necrophagist. I want to see Necrophagist, but yeah, they have released an album for like what is it, like 12 years, and they're never on the road, and they never come by Sweden, and you know who those guys are.
For my part, I would have loved to see Dissection, but unfortunately, I got into Jon Nötveit's music 1 year after he committed suicide, so I never got a chance to see them live, unfortunately. But other than that, I would love to see Deathspell Omega, which would never happen because they never play live. I would love to see actually an American band which I like a lot called Caladan Brood. They're great.
Oh yeah,
I think.
I know them.
Kind of a summoning-ish act, and then of course Summoning I would love to see, but they don't play live either.
No.
So.
George just got a smile like, yeah.
Well, I guess
Wasp.
I could say
Wasp I would love to see. I love Wasp.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
We all like them too.
I wouldn't want to see them now, though.
Yeah, but-
used to drink and get drunk to their music. So.
But would you guys want,
great party music.
just like George mentioned, would you want to see Wasp now?
I want like
think
Chris
so.
Holmes
I mean,
Wasp.
what the
Black
fuck?
still has his voice intact from what I've heard.
He
He's
does.
a bit
Yeah, he does.
large, but that doesn't. that hasn't.
But he's gone
that
born
hasn't
again
stopped
Christian,
his
so
voice
he won't
from,
play some of the songs.
Being completely intact. I have to say this. I saw a very I have tremendous amount of respect for a Blackie, but I saw one really really funny picture on the internet once, which was like a picture of him, with his recent body, if you will, and then he was screaming, and then it was like a text on top of his body was like, wanna eat somebody's food, and I laughed for weeks after that.
Are you guys fans of their later releases, or is it really about those early releases with them?
It's like the early release, like Inside the Electric Circus, and like what's that Idol? What's that?
Crimson Idol.
Crimson Idol, yeah, that one.
I like
so,
Oldest
like the
Records,
first four are worth having. Yeah.
The first,
Yeah,
the first,
it's
I would
the
say.
first part.
Also, their late, some of their later songs are actually very good as well. I mean, some songs from not Dominator. What's it called? I have more. I like the older stuff more, but there are a couple of new songs which I like. So.
I'm glad you mentioned them though, because I'm a fan. I know George is a fan. I think you are too, Buke.
I love them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's sort of a sad history there. They really could have been.
They really could have been somebody.
Nobody was listening to that first song. I was hoping you guys would talk a little bit about where the artwork for the record came from.
Well, the artwork for the album was drawn by a very talented Russian artist called Alex Tartsus. We basically came in contact with him through a guy called Johan Nefente, which is the vocalist of a Swedish band called Netherbird. He recommended them to us, and we had done some of his work. And I'd worked with him previously with another band, and he had done a tremendous work on that. He drew the album. Or did you want to know anything specifically about the theme? Or
Is there a theme to it too?
I think the theme actually captures exactly what you described the theme of the album being, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But no, I was more interested in where it came from.
Yeah,
okay.
well, it was a process in the beginning as well when we actually talked about the front page or like the cover of the album. Me and Erik sat at his place and like discussed it for a couple of hours, I guess, and got drunk on wine as usual. But otherwise than that, we. It had to have a meaning with Seraphical Euphony, and Seraphical Euphony, as I mentioned earlier, was about like Hades and the underworld. So we tried to incorporate different elements from different songs into Hades. So all those statues is like the one riding with a bow on a horse. That guy. It's
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm never going to get that out of my head now. Every time I look at the album, I'm going to be like, that guy.
I can explain because the whole theme of the artwork is, of course, as we've said before, a journey through Hades and eventually coming to a place in Greek mythology called the Isle of the Blessed, which is like the ultimate paradise beyond the Elysian fields. But what Anders was referring to and is the man with on the horse with the bow. That is actually referring to two of the songs on the album. The first song is called Flagellum Dei, which deals with Attila the Hun, and the second song deals with Genghis Khan. And
Hyperion Yearning, the eighth song on the album.
Hyperion Yearning, exactly. And that statue is kind of a reference to those two songs on the album.
It's vaguely just a little bit. It's a little bit William Blake-ish, if you know William Blake. It's got just a little bit of that quality to it. If you don't know who he is, you might look it up. But in the metal world, he has the cover of. I mean, he lived in the 1800s or whatever. But one of his paintings is the cover of The Chemical Wedding, Bruce Dickinson's record.
I'm sure a lot of people have used his work.
Yeah, a lot of people have used his work. Yeah.
You also have a rather well-known artist that did your logo as well.
Yeah, Christoph Speidel, the one and only. The guy who made the Emperor logo, the guy who made the logo for Old Man's Child. He's an amazing logo drawer.
Legend by now.
Yeah, actually, when I saw that he did that, it reminded me that I actually wanted to try and get a hold of him to see about doing one for us.
How did this come about? Was you guys just contact him? He was like, sure.
Yeah, how'd you get a hold of him?
Yeah, it was a very kind of bizarre incident, if you will, or not that, if you will, but it was also through Johan Nefente, which is again the lead singer of our buddies Netherbird. We needed a logo, and I talked to him, and he was like, "Contact this guy, Christoph Speidel. He did the Emperor logo." And we're like, "What?
Yeah,
oh, shit, we'll contact him right away." And then I talked, and he was like, "Sure, I will do a logo for you for 35 euros." Like, sure.
What? Really? Okay, I definitely need to get a hold of him.
Now I think he charges like 45 euros or something.
That's still very reasonable.
It's starting to get out of control.
I paid twice as much for something that looked like crap. So
yeah.
Yeah, but sure, contact him if you want a logo because he's really talented and he works fast.
Yeah,
At least if you give him thorough directions, he does what you
maybe off air here, you could give me his contact info.
Sure.
I just looked up here. You guys mentioned you guys are friends in Netherbird. It looks like they have split up, but they released a couple albums here, full-length albums. The Ferocious Tides of Fate.
We have a bit of inside information on them because we know them personally. All I can say is that they have not really split up yet.
Okay.
No,
But
they haven't.
but I will not tell you anything more.
Okay.
They should be the ones releasing them.
Yes, of
we
course.
are very, very, very close friends to Netherbird, and they are still brewing on something. That's all.
Yeah, they have supported us like crazy these couple of years since we started recording. Before that, they have Johan Fente especially has been like really supporting when it comes to the band, and
He's a major supporter, and
all of those guys, Pontus and the other guy Johan, there are two Johans in the bands.
That's great to hear. When
we recorded all of the drums in their studio. Actually,
Yeah, and some of the drum parts were the drums that I used were a part of Neil's Dominator, the guy from Dark Funeral. It was his drums because at the moment he was actually in and playing with Netherbird, so I got the permission to use some of his drums to record Seraphical Euphony to get a little better sound, a little better drum sound from the like the toms and all that. So we asked them before, and they like you can use some of our drums if you want to. So it was kind of cool and it was kind of nice.
That is cool. I wonder if there is somewhere out there. There's the most educated metal kid in the world going, "I love that record, but the tom-toms sound so much like the Dark Funeral record."
Someone's picking up on that tom. They're like, no, Jay, or maybe they're just sitting there like, I know I've heard that somewhere.
That's right. That's
I
right.
can't put my finger on it.
It's uncanny.
It's cool. I think George was going to say it. It's cool to hear bands form such a cool bond with other bands like that.
Jay can't exactly say that the San Francisco scene is quite so cuddly.
Yeah, it isn't. No, and that's not what it used to be. I don't know how much you guys know about the San Francisco scene, but I mean, you're Metallica fans, for instance, and the thrash thing came out of here, but it's just not like that here anymore. I mean, all of our band friends are bands that are just in our rehearsal complex.
I only know classical musician from the Bay Area. Sorry, but otherwise, when it comes to the bands, it's like Metallica. That's the only thing. Otherwise, LA, with early Slayer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, hey, real quick, and then I have no more for you, if George does. When you guys aren't, listening to metal, or not making metal, I should ask. You mentioned, liking video game soundtracks, or you with your classical music.
Yeah.
What music are you guys listening to?
For me personally, I would say, of course, metal and movie and game soundtracks are huge influences to me, but also atmospheric music in general, like kind of ambient music and a lot of some classical music as well. Those are my real passions, and some 80s, classical rock and 70s classic rock, and also that kind of stuff. But generally, I tend to prefer atmospheric, mighty, and melodic music, whether it be metal or epic soundtracks. Those are my soft spots.
Maybe I can get you in a power metal band. Do you want to start something? Let's go.
I love power metal.
I love power metal too.
We love power metal too. Vanguard and Gamma Ray, all those guys.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite soundtrack composer?
For me, I would say Glenn Stafford, the guy who wrote the Warcraft 2 soundtrack and the StarCraft soundtrack. He's a genius.
Awesome. Another soundtrack I got to bring up, the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack. That's classic.
Oh yeah,
That's a good
classic one.
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
It was Basil. I don't even know Basil.
Oh yeah.
It's a really long name I can't pronounce. Pouldaris or something like that. But
And Anders, you yourself, do you just surrounding yourself with classical music when you're not listening to, or when you're not playing?
Well, when it comes to music in general, I don't listen that much to metal anymore. It's more or less only classical music, and then I'm like a music geek. I'm telling you, I listen to music from Azerbaijan to Japan to China to Spain. I listen to flamenco. I listen to everything, literally everything. So, but what I listen right now is mostly I'm trying to discover new composers and new stuff within classical music. And lately, it has been a little more when it comes to Asia and China and Japan in particular, and especially Japan. Okay. Otherwise than that, I've been listening to a lot of flamenco from Spain these couple of years, like Paco de Lucia, the great one. And I listen to a lot of French chanson music, like Charles Aznavour, what her name? Oh God, I love that woman, but I just forgot her name. Edith Piaf. So
Edith Piaf.
I have to ask, as a self-proclaimed music geek, we're going to talk about it when we get into the pod. How's your way to listen to music? Do you have a nice pair of headphones? Do you have a real nice pair of speakers?
And there's a follow-up question here, which, just so we don't forget to ask, guys, is the record coming out in vinyl?
That was my next question.
Take Buke's part first, for sure.
Like we got that question for like 100 times now.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You've already sold 100 copies, then.
Yeah. For each question, we make one copy.
There you go. But Buke's question was, what is your preferred mode of listening? And I am curious to hear that.
Oh yeah. Well, I got some like studio like speakers of some kind, quite expensive stuff. So I listen to those usually. Otherwise, I have like studio headphones as well for my late piano sessions when I practice like in 2 in the morning or something. I actually use them with the computer as well sometimes. So I use both headphones and speakers, both like studio adaptable stuff. For more, I got them quite cheap because I know some. I know.
It's all about who you know.
I know a guy. I know a guy who knows a guy who robbed a guy.
Yeah.
And Eric,
a close friend of mine,
for my part,
like a guitar store, so I got everything through him for a very cheap price. So that's it.
For my part, I usually enjoy listening to music mostly through headphones. I'm not really a technical person in any way, so I just take it to headphones that don't sound like crap to me. But I prefer my snäckor, you call them in Swedish. I don't know what they're called in English, but small headphones. Yeah, in-ear, of course.
Yeah, in-ears.
And then you have, and then of course I like big headphones like I have right now, a headset, but. Also, I really enjoy listening to, having a lot of friends over and listening to my speakers at home, pounding some real good music. That's good. Yeah. And to answer your second question regarding the vinyl, we have had many people writing to us asking if we were going to do vinyl. And for a long time, that was not really the case because it is so expensive. But now we are actually in contact with a company that have pledged themselves to offer financial support to print vinyl. So it's a work in process, but it will take some time.
Yeah, knowing what we learned from you guys today. Don't expect it a week from now or a month from now.
No.
It'll be a slow burn, but when it comes out...
focus on quality, not quantity.
There you go. And you don't have to comment on this, but is it a label, do you mean, that you're talking to?
Yeah, we have a record label, but the label that is contacting us for the vinyl stuff is a third-party label, if you will.
Understood. Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I can tell you this.
It might come out in the summer sometime.
Okay, great.
Somewhere in the summer will be hopefully a release of vinyl.
Excellent.
Yes, awesome. Well, we hope so too. We hope so too. And I think it sounds like it's one of those things that's going to fly off the shelf, especially if you do a limited run, because people are so taking to this record. So
great.
Yeah, that's
Are there
awesome.
many people in the States enjoying this album? I don't know. Are there?
Everybody we know.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
and bear in mind, this is something we do as a hobby, the podcast and things like that. But and the metal scene is just kind of, it's a little bit lower than it used to be everywhere. But you guys are getting, a lot of exposure online, as you obviously know. And like George said, people we know are listening to it, and I think that speaks highly of it. For everybody to be listening to it that we know says a lot.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, because we all have different sub-interests and things. So
in closing here, we'll give you guys the final say. Go ahead, plug your guys' stuff, say anything else you want us to, our listeners to know.
Let people know where they can buy your album.
I would like to thank you tremendously for letting us be here on our show, and we really appreciate that you guys are passionate about our music and metal in general. So that's all for me.
Yeah, I say the same things to everybody who listens to this. Like we have bought our album, and like we didn't even know that this would happen at all. For like a couple of months ago, or like for a year ago, we just did what we did, felt right. So we really appreciate everything that has happened right now,
and we are extremely grateful.
Yeah, we're extremely grateful. So thank you guys for letting us be on the show. That's
we're grateful too.
So yeah,
We love to talk to passionate artists who produce good music, and so we're just as grateful on our side. We really are.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was our interview with Hyperion from Sweden. Like I said earlier, make sure to check them out. You can find them on Bandcamp, and I think you're really going to like this album. So,
Re-listening to this album again for this interview had me moving my list around. This easily could be album of the year for me so far.
yeah, there's some. It's seriously, it's funny because I've been talking to Jay about tremolo picking and how I've been picking up the guitar again recently, and basically, I suck is the bottom line, and I haven't played for a very long time. And I was like, I was never one to be able to do tremolo picking. And so Jay's like, practice. And so I practice, picking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it's improving. But then I go and I listen to this album, and it's like, just right out of the gate, it's like, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm not even close to being good yet.
Time to put my guitars on Craigslist.
Yep. So,
Or order another amp. It's
yeah.
That's the case. Would be. Time to upgrade. I need better
Exactly.
equipment.
So, definitely check these guys out. So I got a message from Buke the other day, and I'm going to let him talk about this a little bit, but basically he got some free shit. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, we here in the podcast, we're all avid headphone users, and we've sung the praises of having a good pair of cans on your head for listening to music.
Headphones, too.
And I had a pair of Grotto headphones before, but they were in like an entry-level model. But they did me well. They were amazing. Not that anything's wrong with them, but I wanted to reach out to Grotto as one, express my appreciation with how amazing of a product that they do, but also ask if if they ever have a list for like testing out some of their product. I'm not one to try and get free stuff from anybody because that's just not my character, or is it what we do here on the podcast. But I thought, hey, maybe they'd send me like, hey, here's like a discount code, or 20% off or something like that. But I reached out to Jonathan Grotto, the son of the company's founder, and in my inbox this week was a new pair of Grotto 225 Prestige Series headphones.
Nice.
They sound amazing. Right out of the box, sound amazing. The fullness that these headphones add to my music already. I'm not just saying this as like an advertisement or a plug for them, but I've tried a lot of headphones on, and these ones blew away the pair that I already had before. So I will report back in a couple episodes as my listening continues with these. But I just wanted to give a sincere thank you to Jonathan and everybody at Grotto for their amazing headphones. More than generous. It was not even my, in my wildest dreams, thought like something that would happen. Because, we're not like a CNET or, a company that does,
Reviews and shit.
reviews and stuff like that. We do, but we're just a couple guys here on the podcast,
Yeah.
So thank you.
Well, it's funny because I tell people, I'm like, Buke could talk anybody into anything.
Yeah. If the Grim Reaper was coming right for me, I'd be like, hey,
Take this guy over here. And he'd be like, okay.
Sit down. Let's have a talk.
This is the guy that goes into the bar and asks the bartender, hey, can I have that beer tap handle on the thing? Yeah, the one you're using? Yeah, okay, thanks. And he gives it to him.
Or the lady at Death Fest last year.
Yeah, let us go in and out without going through security. I'm like, hey, can we come in? We might have bombs or guns, but can we come in without going through security? Sure, no problem. If I asked any of these things, I would get a sternly worded, fuck no.
George would reach out to Grotto and they'd say, hey, here's Sony's website.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
And we're sending somebody to pick up your current pair.
Yeah. So I don't know how he does it, but he does it. So
Just a gift of gab.
yeah, I guess. I'm a nice guy, but whatever. I'm just not as talkative and social as you, I guess. All right, let's get into the news. So, was it about a week or so ago, a little over a week ago, Prince died, and the world lost its mind. They're calling this the year the music died, as opposed to the day the music died. We lost Bowie, we lost Glenn Frey. Obviously, right before the beginning of the year, we lost Lemmy. And, they haven't released official cause of death yet, but it sounds to me like he had a bit of a pill problem. A little bit of opiate, sort of a Michael Jackson-esque death of too many prescription.
Maybe so.
Yeah. But, God, it hasn't, like, died down yet. I mean, it's been over a week. And people are still doing tributes. People are still posting things about it and playing the music. XM's still playing the shit out of his music. Obviously, Prince not being a metal guy, but he was one hell of a guitar player.
Yeah, he was.
And if like Jay and myself, you grew up in the '80s, there was no avoiding Prince. I don't know, Jay, what your thoughts are on him, but I was a big fan of Purple Rain when it came out back in '84. And
I was kind of not, because I was such a metalhead and I was against it, but I full on admit that I had one of those moments where I saw the Let's Go Crazy video, and at the end I was like, holy shit, that guy can fucking play guitar, and I was like, probably like didn't want to tell people. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty much the way I felt too, because '84, that was, pretty much right when I was getting into metal at the same time. But like I said, Let's Go Crazy was such a rockin' song. Like so much of what came after Purple Rain was not rockin'. It was much more funky.
There's like this Jimi Hendrix guitar solo at the end. I mean, he could really play.
Yeah.
He was a talented guy.
And so I was just like, when this came out, I was like, man, that's some cool shit right there. And I Let's Go Crazy, I wore that song out.
In our community, I can't speak on Prince because I never listened to the guy. I didn't like what he did. I'm not going to lie. Only thing I liked was Dave Chappelle's skit on Prince. But in our community, overwhelmingly, I saw the response on Twitter that a lot of people would have wished that he had done just a pure rock album.
Yeah, he should have. And he was capable, He could do anything he wanted to. And he was, I think it's well established that he was a bit of a musical genius.
Yeah. And, he influenced people across so many walks of life. I mean,
yep.
Corey Taylor did a couple of songs. He did Purple Rain and Little Red Corvette acoustically. At least those two. I saw videos for those. And, they're kind of cool.
He can sing. He can actually kind of sing.
Yeah, of course. But still, while I haven't hardly listened to Prince in decades, it's still a part of my childhood, a part of my growing up. And for him to just be like, here 1 minute, gone the next, it was jarring and a little bit disturbing.
He's only 57. I mean, it was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Even more so than Bowie, because, Bowie was, 60s and 70s, whereas, Prince was 80s, and that was my generation there. So,
yeah.
It sucks. So, rest in peace, Prince, I guess. Moving on to something a little more metal. Gojira released a video for Stranded, their new song from their forthcoming Magma album. Raise your hand if you listened to this and hated it. You can't see this, but nobody hated it.
Kind of old school look to the video, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I didn't even have to ask. I know everybody likes this song.
The hype for this could be too big.
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought it was really fucking good.
I honestly think this might be their Led Zeppelin 4 getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
Maybe we have consensus on the podcast for once of Album of the Year. Maybe.
I don't know about that. But yeah, I will not rule it out. I will not rule it out.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Do they have a firm release date?
Yes, it is. No. I don't. I thought it was in June, but if there is, I didn't write it down. So I know how I've already talked to Jay about this one. Candlemass released a lyric video for the title track for their forthcoming EP, "Death Thy Lover." Go ahead and hit me with it, Jay.
Hated it.
I didn't actually hate it.
Hated it. Do you remember that Men on Film?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Hated it.
I understand where you're coming from, and I certainly cannot, dispute what you might want to explain a little more. But I turned it on and then promptly started doing something else, and so I forgot what I was doing. And so then I was like, oh, there's music playing. What is that? It's not so bad.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, it's Candlemass. And then I hated it again. Because my point being that if I didn't know it was Candlemass, it's not so bad. It's not terrible in that regard. But then when you realize that it's Candlemass, you're like,
It's not
okay,
up to snuff.
it's another fucking singer. It's certainly doesn't hold a candle to previous Candlemass efforts in any way, shape, or form. And so,
It's just not up to snuff, dude.
yeah.
And they also made the somewhat weird decision, I think, of even though I loved Robert Lowe, and you know that I love that period, they got a Robert Lowe kind of sound alike, and that's so weird. That's so weird to me that of their
It's
whole
so
vaunted
weird.
history, but of the so vaunted history, they chose to get somebody who kind of duplicated him. I don't know. I mean, and I love him, but it's just such a weird. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a weak track, you know.
It's kind of weak.
And I didn't. If I'm gonna hear Robert Lowe, I'd rather hear
You'd rather hear what?
Robert Lowe. It might be time to wrap it up for them.
Speaking of weak sauce,
Hey, going back to Gojira, I'm seeing June 17th, June 26th. It's around sometime in June.
yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of weak sauce, Alice Cooper was featured in an Apple Watch commercial, dressed up in his golf gear. Oh, what do you think of that?
I didn't watch this one, but I love the Cookie Monster one.
Oh, the Cookie Monster one is the tits.
Oh, tell me about it.
You haven't seen the Cookie Monster commercial? Yeah, like
It's almost fun enough for we should stop the recording. You should go watch it, Jay.
Yeah.
It's him just waiting for cookies.
Yeah, it's like he's baking cookies and he puts them in and he's like, Siri, set timer for 14 minutes. and then she's like, you see the timer going and it's like 13:59, 13:58. And then they start playing a Jim Croce song, Time in a Bottle. And he's like, they keep fading to all these different. He's tapping his fingers on the counter. He's playing with the spatula. He's turning the oven light on and off. You know, and then you see him like outside the kitchen window looking in, and you know, it seems like he's doing all these things. And
That sounds awesome.
and then he comes back and he's like, Siri, how much time is left? And it's like 13 minutes and 15 seconds. So it's only been like 30 seconds since he started. It's pretty funny.
But I have not watched this yet. I still do not have an Apple Watch.
No,
I swear by this, people do not buy first generation products.
especially for $700. Good
Yeah.
grief.
Yeah,
That's
I think
ridiculous.
you and no one else has an Apple Watch either, Buke.
I see them
They're
at
not.
work all the time, but
I've never seen one.
Me either.
So Fate's Warning is getting ready to release a new album called Theories of Flight on July 1st. Is John Arch singing on there? No. Do I care? Not really. I'll wait it out for Prog Power in September when I can see him with John Arch.
There you go. Yeah.
well, speaking about Prog Power, though, as John mentioned yesterday, with some unrelated news that I don't see made it on here to the schedule.
All right.
Maryland Death Fest has
Shit the bed.
shit the bed, as John says. Oh, don't worry, that happens at Prog Power all the time. We recently learned within the past couple of days. Here we are right now recording. It's May 1st. Death Fest is
20 days?
like 3 weeks away or so.
3 or 4 weeks.
3
Yeah.
weeks.
Destroyer 666 and Serpent Throne
And
Thulkandra.
Thulkandra.
With
That one hurts, man.
Yeah, apparently Thulkandra was a month ago, but we all missed that. But 3 bands, 2 of them I was really looking forward to.
and they replaced
Thulkandra or Incantation replaced Destroyer.
Yeah, Incantation replaced Destroyer 666, which is basically like saying, here's a nice tasty pastry. I'm going to replace this with a piece of shit.
But in the running in the running messages that we keep amongst the pod here, our George man called me. He says like bands like Mayhem who have documented crimes and atrocities get work visas.
Well, knocking on wood there, because it would not surprise me if Mayhem couldn't get into the country.
Oh yeah, me either.
But these guys can't.
I am disappointed, especially because Serpent Throne, Destroyer 666 in particular, are way at the top of my
Didn't
list.
Serpent Throne just play?
No,
Yeah.
that was Serpent Cult.
Oh, I was thinking
No,
DC.
that
that
wasn't-
wasn't.
sorry.
DC, they were at the Browfest.
It was Serpent. Yeah, they that's right. They were just here.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were talking about Deathfest from last
No.
year, the Serpentine.
That was Serpentine Path.
Yeah.
Boy, those guys were
Who
fucking
knows what's
heavy.
going? Serpent Throne's from Pennsylvania, so it's not like they had to get a fucking visa.
That's weird. Oh, they had work issues. That's what it was.
Is that what it was? All
Yeah,
right.
they.
See, but the thing, you knew about this it's not like, oh, Deathfest is coming. Like, I'm not going to work tomorrow saying, hey, can I get leave, I've known about this since last year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, some people's obviously, particularly if you're a metal band from Pennsylvania, your job is definitely more important than the band. And
Sure.
if the job says sorry, but you have to work, then
It's like
that's what you
me.
gotta do.
I'm looking forward to Death Fest, but if work tells me, "Hey, Buke, we need you here,"
That's what you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I spoke to Corey the other day. He says, "Fuck." To quote him, "Fuck that craft beer shit in the parking lot. We're pounding Natty Bows all day long."
Woohoo.
So that's straight from the Nine Circles guys.
I think I'm gonna go like Stella, slightly weak and drinkable, but slightly classy.
It's all day drinking
Yeah, well, I can drink Stella all day.
at the art show down the street.
Hey, it's got a little more flavor than fucking Budweiser.
Or Natty Bow.
Natty Bo tastes like fucking piss.
Okay.
I'm not from around here. I can insult it.
Yes. I didn't know about it. To be honest, it wasn't even on my fucking radar until I started dating my wife. That's how
Yeah.
much I hate Baltimore.
Yeah, it's up there with like Old Mildew. I mean,
Yeah.
Old Milwaukee.
So I was looking on Instagram the other day, and I saw this from one of our favorite bands, Black Crown Initiate, released the album artwork and confirmed that their next album, Selves We Cannot Forgive, will be out July 22nd.
Can't wait.
Or is it Wreckage?
Wreckage of
Wreckage of
Stars.
Stars or something like
yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stars.
That debut album we loved. It was high on our list.
Oh, yeah, it's
top,
good.
Top 3 for I think you and I that year.
I don't think it made my top
I
10,
think
but
it-
it was definitely on my list.
It was all mine. But we loved it.
Oh, yeah, it's a great album. I can't wait to hear this.
I hope they've improved how they are on stage. But if you have not heard Black Crown Initiate's debut album, please do yourself a favor and check that out. And also, another band I thought was dead and gone.
I put this one on for you.
Another band I really thought was dead and gone. Montreal's own Despised Icon is going to be releasing Beast on July 22nd. Despised Icon is a deathcore meets kind of grind. See, they're like a deathcore sound, but also they have some fucking brutal grindcore there. They're not poppy, but they were kind of riding that wave when like Suicide Silence and Job for a Cowboy is blowing up. And I didn't think they would release anything again. So
Yeah, I hadn't heard about them in a while, so I was
Yeah.
like, what's this? And then
this next one I could care less about.
You like them. You like their newer stuff like this.
I do.
Overkill is getting ready to work on a new album. I think they said they were going to be recording drums this month. Nothing like a release date or an album title yet, but they are working on it. So
They're so diehard. This could be a news story every week.
These guys just keep pumping out albums.
yeah, got a whole bunch of new releases coming out actually. Bloody Hammers just announced that they're going to release their new album on August 5th. It's called Lovely Sort of Death. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Sabaton is getting ready to release a new album on August 19th called The Last Stand. I hadn't heard about that one.
No, me either.
Volbeat released a lyric video for their new song, The Bliss. You can't see it, but Buke just sneered. And I listened to it and I liked it. Is it like super uber commercial? Yeah, it is. It really is. But I dig the dude's voice. And as I've said before, he kind of reminds me of the dude from Life, or the woman from Life of Agony.
Ouch.
And even though it's a little more poppy sounding, I dig them. So I like the new song. I'm looking forward to the album.
Oh, also what came out this week too, Powerwolf, a podcast favorite, announced that on July 29th they will release their first live Blu-ray and CD LP
Sweet,
called the Metal Mass Live.
nice,
Awesome,
You
dude.
know I love Powerwolf.
Yeah, I dig those guys. That's probably one of my favorite power metal bands.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
2 Blu-ray, 2 DVD, 2 CD limited edition set.
Sweet. So this next one, which is actually the last news item, was sent to us, and it surprised the shit out of me, by listener Greg. And apparently Aggrecocker has returned, and they're going to be doing a new album called Renaissance in Extremis, which will be due this fall. Now, I thought these guys broke up. I think their last album was like 2007.
Been a while, dude.
Aren't these the guys who get the hot fucking girls in their videos too?
Yeah, they're like, we play death metal with naked blondes.
You know, that guy, the lead singer, whatever, head man. He's like a duke or something like that. Or he's part of a royalty, and he owns like a old manor. I saw this article on it in Metal Hammer one time. And it was so interesting to see that he had this big old gentry house somewhere. And it was like totally evil, too, because it was old and dilapidated. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I'll try to look that article up and send it to you because he's of royalty after a fashion.
Sweet.
Yeah, and like a devout, one of those real Satanist guys, too. He's an actual Satanist, yeah.
Did you listen to the song?
No, I haven't heard it. Did you like it?
I did like it. It's not exactly what I expected. There's a lot. It's like pretty clean vocals, and it's very melodic.
All right.
I mean, it's certainly not the Antichrist Imperium, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
I'll go after. I'll check it out this afternoon. I didn't even take a stab at it yet.
But I'm not gonna comment on that aspect of it until I've heard it in the context of the rest of the album. But it was still pretty cool. All right, let's do some new releases.
This week's new releases, here they are. Spend your hard-earned money now.
First one, I don't know if Buke's got it yet, but I'm sure he will be, and that's the new Aborted Retro Gore.
I don't have it, but they've quickly, like I mentioned 2 or 3 episodes ago, they've kind of quickly become one of my favorite death metal bands out there now.
I think the promo's in the box, actually.
It is. I just haven't downloaded it, but it is.
Yep. And then, of course, just finally released, our pals in All Father have released Bless the Earth with Fire. So if you listened a couple episodes ago when Tom was on and you were like, he's a pretty good sounding bloke, well, now's your chance to pick up the album. Go up to Bandcamp and pick up Bless the Earth with Fire.
You know, Spotify Mark, who was on last episode in our chat, I think he said it like three times to how much he loves the album. Mm-hmm. And then he sent me a message like, not to keep blowing up and bothering everybody, but I really like that album. Will loves it. He likes it. It's good.
It's good.
A cool album.
Way to go, Tom.
Cool thing about them, again, they kind of blend hardcore with a little more metal.
Yeah.
I like my hardcore more hardcore.
This is very like doomy hardcore. Yeah. So I really dug it. And side note, do you think maybe it's time to graduate Spotify Mark to just being Mark?
Yes.
Now that he's been on a couple of times and he's part of the gang, maybe we could just call him Mark.
Yeah, you've hazed him enough with last week's episode of what you're listening to.
Hey, I sent him an email with the whole list, so he didn't have to write it all down.
Oh, he just had to search it out. Okay,
but he did send out a tweet saying that this was the largest playlist yet. So sorry. It's much shorter this week.
This next one I listened to actually this morning before I came over. Beast Wars: The Death of All Things.
Yeah.
Kind of like a modern Pentagram.
That's a good way of putting it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I got their last album when it came out, but I'd listened to it a couple times and then kind of forgot about it. But I recognize the artwork and the logo are sort of striking, and so I was like, oh, I know these guys, and so I snagged that.
Sorry, George.
But I haven't given it too much of a listen yet. I just know that the brief listen I gave it, I was like, yeah, this is worth getting.
A metal movie that George and I kind of like that's called Deathgasm. They have a couple songs in the soundtrack. Yeah, and I was watching it for the second time the other day, and he's wearing a Beast Wars shirt in it too.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's like it later in the film.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I want to take this next one too. If you're fans like me and you like what I recommend, Fallujah has released Dreamless, more technical death metal perfection. So
indeed,
as George says, check it out.
And a fucking cool cover on that record too.
Oh, their album art is pretty cool.
Yeah. This next one I haven't heard yet, but it's on my list to check out when I can find it. Actually, I think I have it on my Bandcamp wish list. This is The Foreshadowing and 7 Heads, 10 Horns. They're kind of a gothic metal band. I've heard their last couple albums. And while it was interesting, it wasn't anything that knocked my socks off. It wasn't super, so we'll see if this one's any better.
Cool.
Next up is October Tide and their new album, Winged Waltz. This is a dude that used to be in, I think it was Catatonia, and it's kind of a death doom album. Their last album, I believe, was called Tunnel of No Light, and I really dug that a lot. So I pre-ordered this one when it came out, and I've only gotten about halfway through it so far, but so far, so good. It's, death doom.
So before Jay was on the pod, there was a major snafu, fumble, fuck up.
What did I do now?
Omission. This next band.
Oh, well, no, this was actually
Because it came in after we did our lists.
Right. This was our first episode of 2015 featured this next band. This is Painted Wives, and they just signed with Century Media and reissued their album Obsessed with the End. But this is a really good album, so I'm glad that they got picked up and it's being reissued for more people to hear. It's heavy, but it's got kind of this like Alice in Chains kind of thing going on. Can't recommend this album enough.
I agree. I was so glad you put this on here because, again, listening to music this morning, playing some PlayStation. God, this album's awesome. It's not real super heavy, but it's when I'm listening to music, when I'm listening to 9:00 in the morning on the Sunday, you're reminded how awesome of an album this is.
Certainly.
And literally, George is like, "Damn it! I just found this album. If I would have found it, it would have made my list."
Yeah. Oh, and it's also being reissued on vinyl, which I have pre-ordered. Next up is the band Person, P-U-R-S-O-N, and Magic Theater. Now, I remember when their last album came out, Buke was all about this. So I haven't heard this yet, but I want to check it out.
Kind of female-fronted doom.
Yeah.
They just opened up on this most recent Ghost tour through the States. They're the opening act.
Excellent.
Now, this next one you guys were mentioning about earlier.
Yeah, let me just take this can of worms and open it up. What's in there?
I haven't heard this.
Bunch of worms. This is the new Shamash album, triple album, Triangle. And Jay's ready.
That's how much Jay hates it.
So I will just say this: Shamash album to me is the picture of disappointment, and the worst part about it is people are going to be calling it a masterpiece, and it's fucking not. I wish I could be a little more diplomatic here, but the first 5 songs, and they're not short songs, are basically just variations on this. Half step up, and sometimes it's and sometimes it's like arpeggios and shit, but it's always the same 2 fucking notes. I couldn't fucking get through it, and I tried 5 times. Ask George. And people are going to be calling this album a masterpiece.
Corey
I feel
from
like
Nine Circles really liked it.
I saw that this morning, and I'll tell you this, and I feel like I'm pretty in on it. It's either so far over my head it's not ridiculous, or they ran out of ideas. I actually actively dislike this fucking record. There, I got it out.
Yeah, I tried getting through it again this morning because I'm frequently guilty of writing something off because I haven't given it enough of a listen yet, and it turns out that it's a grower, and I just haven't given enough attention yet to understand the album the way it was intended or what have you. But like Jay, the first couple times that I've gone through this, and I've been through the whole album, it just... Okay, if you're going to make 100-minute or so album, you got to make it interesting. And
dude,
it's one thing if you're going to do droning and avant-garde, simplistic stuff, but don't do it for 100 minutes.
How does Sun have a fucking following then?
Well,
dude,
I can't.
Well,
I can't.
People are calling this record a journey, and I'll tell you this: it's a journey that goes no fucking where. It's just
walking in a triangle
in the desert, and it just. And George, let it be said, we should have started with this. George and I both loved Contradiction.
Yeah.
Loved it. I put it on right before I listened to this because I was like, I want to remember how great that was. And here we go, the new Shamash. Fucking hate it, dude. It's just not a good record. And
like I mentioned in the interview, it's kind of one-dimensional because it doesn't go anywhere. It just, I dig the clean, sort of choir-y type vocals. That's about it. Because like I said, it's a drone, but not in a good way. It just doesn't go anywhere.
I literally counted the fucking notes for the first 5 songs. I had to do something to stay awake. And this was my 4th listen. I was like, fucking fuck this. I just got out. I have the 3. I got the limited edition album. Wasn't excited. As I told George, it came here and I was like, yay. It's a shame. And the problem is, this is going to be an annoying year for me because a lot of people are going to be putting this on the year-end lists. I already know that. But I think they're full of shit. I don't think anybody's sitting there listening to this record. I just don't buy it.
You did buy it, actually, but so did I.
Yeah, that's right.
Triple fucking vinyl. All right, so the next thing, I haven't heard it yet, but I can't wait to, and that's the new Vector album, Terminal Redux.
Yep. I don't know him.
You don't know him? Well, you should definitely check out the last 2 albums, Black, Future, and...
Black and Thrash.
Okay. All right.
Just Thrash. But they're not black and they're just very spacey themed.
Like Voivod meets Creator.
Oh, cool. All right, I'm in.
And then Outer Isolation.
Outer Isolation, yeah. A very
cool.
Voivod-looking kind of logo, and I mean, even like the album titles are kind of Voividian. But yeah, definitely check that out. I'm going to be... I pre-ordered it. I haven't gotten it yet, but...
On an interesting side note, the drummer is dating Ray from Immortal Bird.
All right.
Oh, all right. They're from Chicago then?
Nope.
No, these guys are in Pennsylvania right now, in Philly.
Okay.
Last new release is The Wretched End, and In These Woods, From These Mountains, Samoth of Emperor's second album, I believe, with this band. And, so far, it's cool. It's not of like the Isan caliber, but
It's okay, though.
yeah, I mean, if you like Emperor, I think you'll like this. So check it out. Let's get into our top 3.
What's your topic? What's your topic? What's your this week?
Buke came up with this one. Why don't you tell us about it?
So I was sitting around and I was thinking, for somebody new getting into heavy metal, what 3 albums would you hand them to say, here, start your journey with this? Now, the really interesting thing about this is bands have had a lot of growth, bands have had ups, bands have had downs. Do you go in with a metal virgin? If you go too hard, you scare them away, maybe. Possibly. Mm-hmm. Or you run the risk of maybe getting them just hooked on whatever the first one was, and everything else, after that isn't good.
I would definitely recommend don't start people out with Pantera. Just a thought. Just kidding.
So, with that in mind, George originally had this top 3 bands. That's way too easy. And again, if somebody's just starting, they need more help than that. So, Jay, you have a new metalhead talking to you right now. They just, say, help me with metal, sir, Jay.
Please, sir, I want some more.
What do you start them with?
Mine is totally fucking generic, so my apologies in advance.
Mine is too.
Metallica Master of Puppets is my number 3.
Puke?
That's a good one. 'Cause that's also my number 3 also.
I don't want to freak you guys out, but my number 3 is Metallica Master of Puppets.
Oh, man.
Dude,
Awesome.
What if we do this?
The whole thing.
Well,
It
it
won't
could happen. It could happen.
It won't happen.
So let's go to my number 2. Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast.
Puke?
Iron Maiden, Power Slave.
Close enough.
Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind.
Oh, man.
Though I considered Number of the Beast. I was going to do a Slash. I actually thought Number of the Beast first, and I was like, no, Peace of Mind is really my go-to Maiden album.
No, but you got to do a song, though, remember?
No, we're doing
We're back to Registered Records?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. Well, then, wow, that's so good that I chose the title tracks off of both those songs. All right, man, last one. I bet George and I have this in common. And you know what? I bet we're all on the same side here. Black Sabbath.
Buke?
Not even close.
Pantera.
All right.
Okay, you have a metalhead who you want to mold. Okay? You want accessible. You want something that the catalog is not going to change a lot. Because looking back on it, please do not crucify me for this statement, okay?
Hold on, let me get my stakes.
Is Black Sabbath really that good? Looking back on it,
It only created heavy metal.
I know it did. I'm not taking that away from it. But is it that good?
Let me comment on that when I get to mine.
Okay, my number 1, vulgar display of power.
It is Pantera.
You have to.
You can't start. That's fucked up that I said that earlier. He's like looking at me like, why did you just shit on my number 1?
You think you want something as catchy?
I only said that earlier to bust your balls.
I know.
That's not.
I know.
You know.
Because you knew I was probably going to say that.
Well, I
a
wasn't
good
sure, but that's
a
where you
gateway
started.
drug.
Yeah, it is. But you have to. That's even though my gateway was reinventing the steel, but vulgar display of power is.
Oh, it is. It is definitely a good place to start.
And probably was for a lot of people. by
I'm
the way.
sure. My number 1 is also Black Sabbath.
Okay.
However, I considered Black Sabbath. I mean, that's the obvious choice, and that's immediately where my mind went to. But then I was like, let me look at the song list. And I'm like, all right, well, yeah, there's A lot of good songs on there. But for a brand noob, I was like, I think I'm going to go Paranoid. Because it's got Paranoid, it's got Iron Man, it's a little more accessible, I think, and that's the only reason. While I think Black Sabbath is certainly the beginning point and a great place to start, if I'm trying to snag somebody, I want to go Paranoid.
Fair enough. Probably the reason I go with the first one though is that first fucking song.
Oh,
that is the foundation of metal right there.
Certainly
but I
is.
agree with you. You could choose more holistically appealing records for sure.
Yeah.
But and it would have been a Sabbath record either way for me. But
yeah.
But that first song is enough to get you started.
The fact that we at least had the same band for all of them except for Buke's number one is pretty cool. That's got to be the closest we've ever come as a group.
Because
Sure.
we know in all-time albums we know in the list of all-time albums, Rain and Blood, it's on every single list. But do you start somebody with that?
No, it's something you got to work up to, I think.
Yeah, I do too.
It's like if you go too heavy, people are going to go,
I even thought that maybe, thinking about this list last night, even doing would maybe, and this may be unpopular with some people, like blasphemy to say, would maybe starting with like Heaven and Hell be a better Sabbath album to start with?
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe
Okay,
trying to really ease them in.
I considered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I considered going one death metal record, but in the end, I just had to go with.
See, but it's
stuff
hard.
that really
Death is you can't start somebody with death.
No, I mean people do. I mean we've met a few
Of course.
younger people that's where they started, but if you want a higher likelihood of them actually getting on board, you got to start them with something a little more foundational.
That's why I went with Pantera because it's you look at the fans.
Yeah, to be sure.
They're
idiots. I'm just joking. But it's like no, it's called extreme metal for a reason, dude. You can't start somebody there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are we listening to?
My list is pretty short, so I'm just going to say two titles because I'm listening to everything I mention every week. But the two new ones that I've added to my list right now are Winter Horde, the Maestro. I'm really into this record. It's a little bit of a lighter version of the Flesh God Apocalypse record, and I don't mean lighter like less heavy. It's just maybe not quite as deep, but it's really good. It's a really good story. Really dramatic, so I would really recommend that. I ordered the vinyl. I think George did too. Limited to 50 pieces out of Israel. It's a band from Israel, by the way. So I fucking love this record. Second, I've gotten strangely into the new Moon Sorrow record. It's called Ju Maltanaika.
I give you credit for trying to pronounce that. There's no way I can. Finnish words are the worst. They're cool. Not saying they're bad, but I just can't pronounce them.
I got the song titles up there, Jay.
Yeah.
Is it all not in English?
No, they never do English.
Yeah, but it's a real interesting record, dude. You might give it a spin, dude, just to see what you think of it. But it kind of got in my craw, and I'm digging it.
I got Moon Sorrow confused with
Moonspell.
Moonspell.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that. Yeah.
All right, Buke.
I have a couple. I want to give props to my friend across from me, my best man. I want to say, George, you were right on some albums you recommended.
Sweet.
I texted you and told you this, but I want to get it on the air. The Zenith Passage solo.
Solipsist.
Yeah, Solipsist. Right up my alley. It's awesome. Destroyers of All Black Fragments. Mm-hmm. Awesome album.
Bleak Fragments.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Bleak Fragments. Now, ones I've been listening to that I found, the new Abnormality album, Mechanisms of Omniscience, came out. A technical death band. Really cool. An album that came out last year, but disincarnate. And so it came to pass.
I assume this is not the same disincarnate as the James Murphy band from the 90s. Oh, that's with a Y. Okay.
Yes, with a Y.
D-Y-S, not
Yes.
D-I-S.
And I found it. Don't know how this one missed me for a release, but Avantasia has a new album, Ghost Lights,
Yep.
that I've been listening to.
Sweet. Little Tobias. Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, one more thing. Counter World Experience from Pulsar.
Yeah.
It's a jazz-infused instrumental metal, like, super group.
Yeah, I
It's
was
been blowing me away.
I listened to that after you posted that, and I wish it was on Bandcamp because I really want to get the flack for it. But
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool.
Perfect headphone listen. That was what I listened to when my Growlers arrived.
nice.
So that's what I have been listening to.
Right on. I've got a short list for you this week. Only looks like 8 albums. First one I got from our buddy John. This one is the band Abyss with an E at the end, Abysse, and I Am the Wolf. This is an instrumental band, instrumental metal. It's cool. Next up, of course, All Father just came out this week with Bless the Earth with Fire. I picked that up on Bandcamp, as well as their previous No God, No Masters. This next one is a band I hadn't heard before, but I found them on Bandcamp. It's called, I guess they're called D-O, but the O has umlauts, like the O on the Motorhead. And their album Tuho. I believe they are a Finnish sort of doom with just like a hint of stoner. It's not like all retro sounding. It's more on the heavy end of doom. I just got that yesterday, but yeah, it's cool. I like it. Yeah, so this next one is a band that we got the promo for. I don't know exactly when it's coming out yet. It probably isn't out yet. They're a Greek band called Scar of the Sun, and this is their second album, In Flood. Their first album I reviewed. It had to be like 5-6 years ago.
I remember that. Yep, a series of unfortunate concurrencies.
Yeah,
2011.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's like 5 years ago.
Yep.
And yeah, it was like an early review on the Metal Disciple.
It was.
And so when I'd always wondered, well, what happened to these guys? And finally, they were releasing a new album, and I listened to it, and it's really pretty cool. It reminds me of like Draconian Times era Paradise Lost. It's maybe a little more accessible, but it's definitely a cool listen. So you should definitely check these guys out because I'm sure they could use your support. My next one, I picked this up the other day on Bandcamp thanks to the recommendation of our friend Will. This is Slaves BC and All Is Dust and I Am Nothing. This next one is one that I picked up after a recommendation from listener Rick. This is a sort of a compilation, not a compilation, but a split with like 4 different bands, and each of them contribute a song. Like all of them, the pronunciation is who knows, but the first band is Volon, second band is Shaitan, third band is Arismenda, and the fourth band is Calathon. And the EP is called Desert Dances and Serpent Sermons. So all of these bands that are on this release are part of the Black Twilight Circle out in California, which is sort of this like, it's not really a gang, it's more of a I don't know, is it a cult or, I don't know, it's sort of like Black Circle from the Norwegian black metal scene, it's like all the people in the scene were part of this group called the Black Circle, and that's what these guys are. They're the Black Twilight Circle. So apparently they're fucking evil. I think that's what we're supposed to take away from that, is that they're a bunch of evil dudes. Real, true cult with the V's in there. So regardless, the music is pretty cool, and so I picked it up. And finally, I also have been listening to the shit out of the new Winter Horde album, Maestro. Oh, and also the new Wretched End, which we already talked about.
I'm really excited to get that vinyl. I have a feeling it's going to be a cool package, and it just feels like such an exclusive little club. 50 pieces.
Yeah, anything under 100 is like, ooh.
Yeah, nice to have. It's a good record.
And we want to give a shout out to our buddy Trevor in Ashen Horde, who just about a week ago put up a Kickstarter to fund a vinyl version of his latest album, 9 Plagues. So if you're interested in picking up the vinyl version of this album, and I know you are because we played him on here, and he's fucking awesome. So head over to Kickstarter and back it, man.
Yeah, here's your chance.
Yep. All right, let's move on to our classic album.
Okay. Mine. I prefer the Metal Blade era of this band. I've probably mentioned that before. Slayer, Show No Mercy. I love that record, dude. I like all the first 3.
Sweet.
Haunting the Chapel. Show No Mercy, Haunting the Chapel, Hell Awaits are some of my favorites. But Show No Mercy is great. It's got some great songs on it.
Yeah, man.
I'm not going to elaborate.
All right. That's all you're going to say on the matter?
That's all I'm going to say on there. Well, I will say this: when Kill 'Em All, that was like everybody's favorite record. This was my favorite record. I was more of a Slayer guy than Metallica guy.
Hell yeah! All right, Buke.
Duke, what's your
Listening to death metal like I like to do, and knowing we had a Swedish guest on today, I dove into early Swedish death metal, and I listened to the album For Never Laid to Rest. Came out in '92 by the band Seance.
Wow.
Yep, early death metal album.
I've heard of them, but I can't say I've listened to them anytime recently.
Yep. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Excellent. Well, my classic this week is actually also a death metal album, and it is like the death metal album as far as I'm concerned. If you were to play off of our top 3 list, if you were to say, I like metal, but I want to get into death metal, where should I start? I would start them with this album, and that is Cannibal Corpse and Vile. Fucking killer album as far as I'm concerned, and the death metal gold standard by which I measure everything else.
Cool.
Amazing album.
fine choice?
Devoured by Vermin, Mummified in Barbed Wire.
Orgasms and torture.
Yep. Oh, man. Eaten from
Always the
Inside.
best titles.
Yep. Relentless Beating. Yeah, it's a pretty good album.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to vinyl purchases.
I didn't get a lot. I did get the reissue of Abigail. I didn't have that yet for some reason, so I got that. I got the Triptychon reissue of their first record, which I was thrilled to have because that's really hard to find.
Yeah, it
Not
is.
anymore. So I got that, and I got a little food tray / boat anchor called Shamash.
Indeed.
Yeah, I got that in the mail, and I'm just not thrilled about it. But so that was it. That was all the vinyl I picked up this week.
You need to find out what the return policy is.
I do. At least I got a white T-shirt from Death Fest out of it.
Puke.
Get anything else, Puke?
Record Store Day copy of Nevermore, The Politics of Ecstasy.
Cool.
That's it.
Yep.
All right. I had a plentiful week. I got the first Dodheimsgard album, which I don't know if I can pronounce it, but phonetically speaking, it's Kronet till Kongi.
Sure. Why not?
I also got the first post-David Wayne Metal Church album, Blessing in Disguise, which was pretty much the last Metal Church album that I cared about. Although I got to say the new album is not bad. With
Not bad.
with Mike back on
coming
vocals.
here.
Yeah.
They're coming in July. I think I'm going to go see them.
Yeah, I saw them on actually the Blessing in Disguise. No, wait, maybe it was Human Factor. All I know is I saw them with Mike on vocals. They were on the Operation Rock and Roll tour with Alice Cooper, Motorhead, Dangerous Toys, and somebody else. But yeah, it was good. Next up, I had to get it. The latest Al Jorgensen, Surgical Meth Machine. Such a cool album. I have to expect that Buke would be like, what the fuck is this? But I fucking love Al, so it's a good album. Thanks to Jay, I picked up the new Flesh God Apocalypse album, King, on vinyl. I'd been looking for it, and it just wasn't out on vinyl when the album actually released. So he let me know that is now available, and I picked it up. I
We
also
both got it from a weird store. Where did you get yours from? I forgot.
I believe it was Amazon.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay, because mine was like from Barnes and Noble or something.
Obscure site. You may have to dig the dark web to find it, Jay.
Amazon.
Yeah.
I also got the new Bloodbath release, The Vakken Carnage.
Nice.
Lucky bastard.
It's not hard to get.
I have a daughter.
Yeah. Well, just you wait, sir. Just you wait. I also got the Shamash Triangle triple vinyl. I'm like, whatever. But at least I also got the first Shamash album, Sick Lucy at Lux. So, that kind of balances out a little bit. I also got the first Falconer album, the self-titled Falconer.
Nice.
And
Very nice.
and finally, I got Gwar Scumdogs of the Universe, as Buke starts crying.
That was a Record Store Day 2 thing, right?
It was,
And that's one of my fucking...
but I ordered it online, and it came like instantly from Germany.
Is it too late for Big to get a copy?
No, not at all. He just hasn't done it yet. So, this is your wake up call. Go order it.
I know.
Yeah, get on it.
All right, deep tracks.
I probably mentioned on the pod before, I've got this underwater iPod that I use that I get to swim with now, and I've been just putting in single track. It's a shuffle.
Do you listen to Underwater Love by Faith No More?
Actually, I do choose water-themed music sometimes. But I almost always throw a couple of Maiden tracks on there, old, new, whatever. And when this one came up the other day while I was swimming, and I'd forgotten... No, I don't think I'd forgotten how good the song was, but I remembered how good it was, and that is Infinite Dreams by Iron Maiden.
Oh,
God
yeah.
damn, that's a fucking good song.
That is one of the
This being off the
best.
Seventh... It's sort of the revelations of Seventh Son, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a good song.
I love that song.
And not often mentioned. You know, it was kind of late in the Bruce early era, so I don't think people paid quite as much attention to that record and stuff. And that's a song and a record worth checking out, by the way. Seventh Son is just fucking killer. Duke, what you got?
And it's kind of mellow and it builds.
This album came on.
It's super emotional. Yeah, go ahead, Duke.
This album came on when I was playing games the other day, and I just let my collection play. Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2. So I'm really going obscure and obscure. Track 7, March of Time. It's going to be so deep, everyone's like, if it's not I Want Out, then it is obscure.
Yeah, I stopped listening to Halloween after Keeper Part 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
You guys don't like Part 2 more?
I never listened to it.
I listened to a little bit, but it was just sort of, I don't know, I just lost interest too, like George.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Already, Buke, thanks for showing up.
Thanks for talking nonsense.
I always say that's why I love the deep tracks. Sometimes it's so deep that
It's too deep.
it's too deep.
That was the definition of you. Well done.
Sometimes it's so deep it's a death knell for the podcast.
That's right. That's right.
Not long ago, I went to go see Amon Amarth and Entombed, AD, and Ex Mortis with...
Oh, really? Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, we invited you. With Will and John, and if you listened to the last episode, then you heard probably our post-mortem on the show. So, I was... Entombed is the band of which we are speaking this week, and I was kind of disappointed that they only played one song from Wolverine Blues, because my favorite song from Wolverine Blues is one that I never hear about, and that is the song Full of Hell. That is like a song about me. you know how that is. They're about you. But
Nice.
yeah, I just fucking, I love that song. I'm full of hell. So there you go. All right, here we are at the end of the episode. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you'll come back and listen to us again. Before we go, please make sure to check us out on SoundCloud. Check us out on Facebook. We're on Twitter. I am Disciple OV Metal.
I'm at Opeth Fan, and Jay's at Catatonic J. Please do us a favor. Tell a friend. That's how we get, we spread this pod. Tell everyone you know about us, please.
Spread us like a venereal disease. You can also check us out on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Stitcher. And of course, you can find us on wearemetalheads.com. Last time I mentioned that you should look us up on Bandcamp. I am on there as Metalheads George. Last time Buke said that he's on there as Opeth, but that is not where you will find him. So
I'm not. That's my username.
Well, that's not what you search and find you on.
What?
Nope, you're actually on there as Buke.
What are you talking about?
Maybe it's your login and not your username.
Probably.
The podcast.
Yep, you're on there as Buke. No, okay, I get what you're saying. If you roll over it, it says bandcamp.com/Opeth. But if you search on Opeth, you do not come up. If you search on Buke,
Weird.
you come up. So Buke, Buke. If you're looking for Buke on Bandcamp, that's how you find him.
And this way you could see like our collections, what's on our wish list, what we may be looking for, what we're listening to.
Yeah, and it'll probably give you a little bit of a sneak peek at what might be coming up on what we're listening to, because that's usually where the stuff ends up on our collection or wish list before it ends up on the podcast. Then you can share stuff with us or whatever. Jay's antisocial. He refuses to come on under his name where you can find him. So
Actually, I'm just vowing to myself right now to change that, because I always buy as a guest there, but I see it's saved my history. So I'll get on.
do it.
Next week I'll have a call sign.
Yeah, see, I secretly believe that Jay, his Bandcamp is full of like Justin Bieber and shit, and that's why he
Yes,
won't
it
let
is.
us see what's on there. So
That's right. Prince from start to finish.
that's all right. I can get behind that. All right, so here we are at the end, and hopefully we're going to do one more episode before Maryland Death Fest. I've got somebody lined up, but I'm not going to tell you who it is yet.
I have someone lined up too.
Hopefully that will work out, and we can get him in the studio in a couple of weeks, and then after that, it's Death Fest. So yeah.
Well, we're trying to, we're trying to hit 50 on Death Fest.
Yeah,
And
when
we'll all
Jay's
be in
here,
this
we want to
place
do
at the
episode
same time.
50.
Yeah, so it'd be cool. We're going to try for it.
Yep. All right, we'll see you next time.
Metal.